All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Monday Motivation. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day so far. Happy Monday to you guys. You know, as usual, today is another powerful message because it's the truth you need to hear. I don't pull punches. I tell you exactly what you need to hear because it is an important part of your journey. I keep telling you that the mindset habits that you practice are 99% of your journey. They're responsible for 99% of your success. So I would highly recommend that, and this is my 59th episode of these Monday Motivations. So we've done quite a few of them. So on the app for my clients, you have access to the motivation group. For those of you who have other coaches, I would recommend that you ask your coach to share the recordings of these with you. I've got a link that goes to all of the recordings so that you can listen to all of the Monday Motivations that I've done so far. So ask your coach about that because we've covered a lot of ground over the past year. And the mindset habits, really, I got to tell you, those are the things that's responsible for the majority of the results that my clients have gotten over the past year. I've had dozens of clients who have lost between 50 and 100 pounds and have gotten off meds and have really transformed their lives. And why? The mindset habits. And today is no different. So today we're going to talk about something very powerful because a lot of you are, we've talked about this before, your voice, your power, and the way you talk to yourself. Well, that's important. Well, we're going to revisit that from a different perspective, from a different point of view, right? A lot of you try to talk yourself out of things. Instead of talking yourself through it, you talk yourself out of it. That's what we do, right? You see, before you give up on yourself, before people quit, well, they talk themselves into quitting, right? So you're having that dialogue in your head, and that is where it takes you down that path to, oh, I can't do this. This is not the right time. I got to quit. So that's where that path takes you, because you talk yourself into giving up. You talk yourself into quitting. Now, you got to learn to talk yourself through difficult situations. You got to learn to counsel yourself through difficult situations as if you are your own coach, because you are your own coach, right? You've got to learn to make decisions from your higher self. It's like making decisions from your higher brain versus your lower brain. Your lower brain is the instinctive brain. That's your animalistic brain. That is responsible for survival. But your long-term future is not about survival. It's about vision. It's about dreaming. It's about long-term commitment. Your higher brain is responsible for that. You see, these quitting thoughts are thoughts of your lower brain. These are thoughts of comfort. When things get difficult, well, no one wants to feel uncomfortable. No one wants to feel the difficulty. No one wants to be in that place. So what you normally do is you talk yourself out of being in that place. You talk yourself into quitting. You talk yourself out of moving forward because it's the comfortable thing to do, right? That is what we do. So let's break this down, right? When things get hard, they always do. You know that by now. They always do. Your mind will start whispering those excuses. Guys, this is a natural part of your journey. Your mind will always whisper excuses because your lower brain, your survival brain is into your comfort. Your survival brain is not thinking long term. Your survival brain doesn't have the ability to see your vision. That is your lower brain. You've got to learn to make decisions from your higher brain, from that vision perspective, from the dreams that you have. I guarantee if you were to always connect back to your dream, to that future vision, you would never give up on yourself. If you would always reconnect to that why, you would never give up on yourself. But it's when you sit in that lower brain and you start listening to your lower brain That is when you give up on yourself, because now you're talking yourself into quitting as opposed to talking yourself into moving forward into that future vision, right? So some of those excuses can look like, I already messed up today, right? I'll just start again on Monday. This isn't working fast enough. This isn't working for me. This isn't for me. There are too many things on my things to do today. I can't do all that. I can't do all those workouts. I've got a bad back. I've got a bad knees. I've got a bad hip. I can't do all that. So this program isn't for me. Right? You see that inner dialogue? Folks, it's not harmless. It's the beginning of the quit. It's the beginning of the quit. You need to flip that inner dialogue, because that is the beginning of the quit. Before you ever give up on your goals, you talk yourself into giving up. Well, you need to learn to talk yourself into moving forward. You need to learn to talk yourself into finding solutions, not excuses. You never allow your excuses, right, to become your reasons for giving up. And the way you do that is you learn to talk yourself through the difficult situations, right? Just like I would work with you and talk you through it. You got to learn to do that for yourself. It's an important and mature thing to do, to learn. Yes, even if you are 80. See, you can learn new tricks, right? Even if you are in your 80s. It's never too late to learn to master your own mind, because that is all that's happening. Your mind's playing tricks on you. That is why you give up on yourself, because your mind's playing tricks on you. You can't see the path forward when you are talking yourself out of it. If you were to learn to coach yourself through these difficult situations and to realize that there's nothing you're going through, there's nothing that will come up that you can't work through and get amazing results. Why? Because you're eating every day, guys. I keep telling you this. If you're eating every day, you can get great results. You can lose weight. You can get off those meds. You can get healthier. You can create a healthier life. You can get better. You can get fitter, healthier, stronger, better. If you're eating every day, you can achieve amazing results. It doesn't matter. I've got clients in wheelchairs. I've got clients with MS who have very limited mobility who are still making progress. I've got clients on all different ends of the health spectrum. So you see, the minute you start to use your conditions as your obstacles as excuses, that is the beginning of the quit. You don't want to go down that path, because that's not what you're here for. You're here to make progress. You're here to get results. And even if it's going by slowly, that's the way it's supposed to, right? You didn't put on 50 pounds overnight. You didn't get unhealthy overnight. You didn't get on all these meds overnight. And all of these things are affecting you. You see, in my group, we're talking about how all of the meds that you're on, you got to understand, all of the meds that you're on are actually doing the opposite. The side effects of every single medication you're on is doing the opposite of what needs to happen in your body for fat loss to take place. So you see, the very first thing that needs to happen is we need to get your body regulating itself again, so that we create the conditions necessary for your body to change, so your body can start burning fat. So a lot of you show up, and if you're not losing weight in a week or 2 weeks, you're beside yourself. Oh my God, this isn't working. You know, the scale isn't moving. Well, you ever stop to thought all of the things that needs to happen in your body before that scale starts moving, before your body even think about fat loss, right? If your body's dealing with all the inflammation from all the meds you're on and all the health issues that you're dealing with, do you think your body is worried about fat loss? When your body's dealing with survival, fat loss has nothing to do with survival. It is way down at the bottom of the list. So we got to get your body regulating itself better before it can even focus on fat loss. And that's about eating the right foods in the right amounts at the right time, getting active, getting your sleep, all of the basic foundational habits we're asking you to practice. It's not about weight loss. These habits are not about weight loss. These habits are about creating a healthier body. These habits are about balancing your hormones and optimizing your metabolism. That is what these habits are for. So you think that these habits are about weight loss. They're not about weight loss. The basic habits we're asking you to practice is not about weight loss. It's about getting your body healthier, getting your physiology to the point where it's helping you along. Your hormones control every process in your body. You got to get your hormones hormoning again, right? Get your hormones hormoning again. We got to get your hormones balanced because they're all interconnected. And how do you do that? It starts with the very basic habits we're asking you to practice, right? Keeping those starchy carbs early. Why? Because at night your body is in insulin resistance. Insulin resistance leads to you gaining weight. Your body's got to have greater insulin sensitivity for you to burn fat. Your body's got to have greater insulin sensitivity for your thyroid to function. Your thyroid controls your metabolism. If your thyroid isn't functioning, your metabolism is down the tube, you're not going to burn any fat. You got to eat balanced meals consistently over the course of the day in order for your body to get into greater insulin sensitivity. That is why you're practicing these basic habits. You got to drink the water. If you're drinking 30, 40 ounces of water a day, how can you create greater insulin sensitivity? You can't. You got to have greater insulin sensitivity in order for your hunger hormones to work, in order for that gut-brain barrier to function, in order for your fat-burning hormones to work. You see all the different things that your basic habits control. Those are the things we're focusing on. It's not about weight loss. All of those powerful physiological things that are happening in your body, that must happen in your body before your body start losing, even think about fat loss. Those are the things that those basic habits are taken care of, right? So it's not about the scale. We don't focus on the scale here. And I'll tell you, throw away your damn scale. Because it doesn't matter what you weigh. What matters is, well, what's happening inside? What's happening that you can't see, right? So before you ever give up on your goals, just know that you're talking yourself into give up. But what if starting today, you flip that script? What if you stop talking yourself out of showing up and start talking yourself through it so that you can start showing up in a more powerful way, right? You see, your inner voice is your greatest weapon. We've talked about this, like the way you talk to yourself. We talked about the way you talk to yourself a couple weeks ago. Well, the way you talk yourself out of things or through things is the most important thing, right? You already have the most powerful tool for transformation, and that is your self-talk. Your self-talk is the most powerful tool for your transformation. You don't need a new plan, folks. You don't need more motivation. You don't need any of that stuff that you think you need. You need to speak strength into the storm. When the storm comes, you need to speak strength into the storm so that you stop giving up on yourself, so that you stop talking yourself into giving up. You got to learn to talk yourself into moving forward in a more powerful way. Here's the truth. Quitting doesn't start with action. It starts with unchallenged thoughts. Quitting doesn't start with action. It starts with unchallenged thoughts. So let's change the pattern. From right now, from today, let's change that pattern. I'm going to give you 3 mental reboot, resilience script to help you change that pattern. So whenever you hit a wall, use this simple 3-step strategy to take control. Are you ready? Here's the first step. I did one of these Monday motivations on dealing with difficult emotions, and the first thing I ask you to do is to name the emotion. Well, this time I'm going to ask you to name the struggle. All right, say it out loud. It might be, this is hard right now. Yes, that's a struggle. Say it out loud. Why? Because naming it reduces the emotional charge. It reminds your brain that this is a moment. It's not your identity. That's important. So naming the struggle is the first way of reducing the emotional charge. I guarantee it. Just like naming the emotion will reduce the impact of that emotion on you. I guarantee it. Give it a try. Step number 2, reconnect to who you're becoming. Say this: the version of me I'm becoming would show up right now. The version of me I'm becoming would show up right now. This connects you to your why, folks. Reconnect to your why, your future vision, right? When you do that, it shifts your focus from what you feel in the moment to what you want, to where you're going, to the person you're becoming. That is what's important. Reconnect to who you're becoming. Reconnect to that why. Why are you on this journey? And a lot of you who talk yourself into quitting is because you don't have a why. You don't have a deep, strong emotional why. So if you don't have a why, I think towards the end of your first week, or at least by your second week, we ask you to work on your why. I give you a very powerful why, what, when, why, what, how video to watch. I give that to my clients. So you need to reconnect to that why. Here's step 3. Redirect with a power statement. Try this. I don't need to feel like it. I just need to do it. I don't need to feel like it. I just need to do it. Or one right decision can flip this whole day. Everything don't have to go well. But one right decision, your next decision will take you down a very different path. It doesn't matter if you've screwed up the whole day. Your next decision can take you down a whole different path. Your next decision. That is all you need to focus on. Your next decision. The thing you do next, that next thought. You see, folks, you are one powerful thought away from changing your outcome. I really need you to understand that. You are just one powerful thought away from changing your outcome. So let's reframe that quit thoughts. Let's reframe those quit thoughts. Let's flip a few of those thoughts that you usually use in quitting. Number 1, I already messed up today. Cool. Now let's win the next moment. I already messed up today. Cool. Now let's win the next moment. This is taking too long. I'd rather go slow than start over again. You see how you can flip that? This is taking too long. I'd rather go slow than start over again. I'm tired. 5 minutes is still progress. You only do 5 minutes, that's still progress. I'm not seeing results. Consistency builds invisible momentum. I'm not seeing results. Tell yourself, consistency builds invisible momentum. When you can't see what's happening, believe me, when you're practicing those powerful habits, remember, those simple habits we're asking you to practice are responsible for some very powerful internal shifts that are taking place in your physiology. You can't see the shifts in your physiology. You will feel them, you will experience them before you see the change on the scale. That is how your body works, right? You feel that? That's power. That's ownership. That's the voice of a leader. When you start telling yourself, I'm not seeing results, hey, flip that. Consistency builds invisible momentum. You see how much more powerful that is? That is what is supporting you. That is what's feeding your brain. That is the mindset of a champion. That is what you want to focus on. So here's your challenge for the week, folks. Here's what I want you to do this week. Number 1, I want you to identify your number 1 quitting thought. You know the one. Identify that number 1 quitting thought. Some of you are having that right now. What is that number 1 quitting thought? I've already talked to about 6 of you, 6 of my clients over the past 2 weeks who've had those quitting thoughts. I get those messages, Coach, I can't do this. I see all these workouts and, I've got a bad back. I've got surgery in my back. I've got a bad hip. I've got a bad knee. I can't do this. This is not for me. Yes, it is for you. This is exactly for you. Why? Because it's personalized for you. This is not a diet program. This is not a weight loss program. This is a coaching program that is individualized specifically for you based on your needs and your situation. So you don't have to do anything that anybody else is doing. Your coach is going to figure out exactly what you need and get you those things that you can do. Because I've got clients in wheelchairs who are doing workouts, who are being active. Why can't you? Doesn't matter what your physical condition. I can find something for you to do. So don't worry about everything else. No, you can't do everything. No, you can't do 5K to 10K steps. Great, that's fine. We'll figure out what you can do. Right? That is what's important. So identify your number one quitting thought. Create a powerful counter statement to shut it down. I'm not seeing results. Hey, flip that. Consistency builds invisible momentum. You see how that allows you to move forward? I'm not seeing results is going to take you down that rabbit hole of taking you to the quit. That's the beginning of the quit. If you keep going with that thought, that's the beginning of the quit. When you flip that script to a power phrase that serves you, consistency builds invisible momentum. You see how powerful that is? You are reprogramming your brain to help you move forward. So here's the third thing I need you to do. Say it out loud every day this week, especially when the excuses show up. Number one, identify your number one quitting thought. If you're having it right now, identify it. Create a powerful counter statement to it. Just like, I'm not seeing results, this isn't working. Consistency builds invisible momentum. Flip that script. Number three, say it out loud every day this week, especially when the excuses show up. Then guys, I want you to write it down. I want you to say it, because then you'll start to believe it, and then you'll start to live it. Write it, say it, believe it, live it. That is the process. You got to write it down. You got to get it out of your head. You got to say it every day out loud so that you're reprogramming your brain. Everything you're doing here is about reprogramming your brain. This is the important part of these mindset habits, to reprogram your brain, because you got some stinking thinking happening up there that are controlling your emotions, leading you to feel like quitting, which affects your actions, which affects your habits, and that affects the results you get, right? Thoughts, emotions, action, habit, results. That's the process that control the results you get. So here's your mantra for the week. I don't talk myself out of the life I want. I talk myself into it every single day. I don't talk myself out of the life I want. I talk myself into it every single day. So every day, I want you to repeat this. I don't talk myself out of the life I want. I talk myself into it every single day. I don't talk myself out of the life I want. I talk myself into it every single day. Repeat that with emotion, because the life you want, the body you want, the health you want, the peace you want, it's already waiting for you, folks. It's already waiting for you. You just have to stop talking yourself out of it and go get it. I hope this has been helpful.